Hi, welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. Now we've got a pretty insane GPU market update. We're gonna talk about why the GPU market right now is absolutely about to implode. There's a massive wave of used GPUs that's gonna impact everything, including the upcoming RTX 4000 series. We'll go through all of that, as well as the best price to performance GPUs right now. And we'll talk about, is NVIDIA actually trying to game the market, as some are alleging? Remember, if you get value out of the video, give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe and click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. With that, let's jump into it.
Before that, this video is sponsored by Deepcool and their new LS ARGB all-in-one liquid CPU coolers. If you're looking for a clean, customizable ARGB aesthetic that's easy to install and whisper quiet, then you should check out the Deepcool LS AIO in 120, 240, or 360 millimeter versions. The updated pump design increases both power and efficiency for quiet cooling. Customize the pump head graphic and enjoy easy installation with the daisy chain cable management features. Take your PC build to the next level with the Deepcool LS AIO cooler using the links below.
Before we understand how the GPU market is absolutely about to implode in terms of pricing, let's take a look at where it is right now. This is current US pricing. Radeon RX 6000 series cards first. Starting at the top, the RX 6900 XT down 3% to $699. It's nice to see AMD cards continue to come down. However, obviously, right now, I definitely would not buy this card. But if you absolutely need something right now and you're looking for that higher end, you don't want to wait maybe towards November, December, yeah, 6900 XT, the ASRock Phantom Gaming D, and also with a rebate, the MSI Gaming, both for $699. Then we've got the 6800 XT, and this is a card I was heavily criticizing for its stupid price just a couple months ago, but this is second month in a row. It's had one of the largest price decreases, down 8% to $589. Obviously much better value than most of the other NVIDIA cards right now, and at $589, that is with the rebate. There are several other models out there on Amazon. Of course, check the links in the video description if you want to check out pricing on these. Now we get into a range like the 6700 XT. These are GPUs that are not going to be replaced at this price point anytime soon. Certainly not probably before 2023. So we've got like the RX 6700 XT down another 5% to $409. This was almost $395, except the card that's the lowest price went back up by just a hair on that, and currently sitting at the Power Color Fighter for $419, or the ASRock RX 6700 XT, which is the cheapest right now with the rebate for $410. And then we go to the RX 6600 XT, and something really interesting happened. Yes, the price actually went up by 5%, $299 last month. However, those models that were $299, they look to both be sold out right now. So it's probably just a stock issue. And the model that's $315 is not a 6600 XT. It's actually a 6650 XT. So from a value perspective, because it's about 7% faster, price went up about 5%, slight actual improvement. It is interesting to note that in a lot of the Newegg listings, I'm seeing that the 6600 XT is just absolutely disappearing. They actually have very few listings left, and mostly it's a 6650 XT. So I'm going to be interested to see if what they're doing is actually phasing out the older model for the 6650. At the low end, which is actually still great performance, we've got the RX 6600 down $10 to $239. Again, most of these can be found on either Amazon or Newegg. Here's one at Newegg for with a good discount on it and promo codes. And finally, we've got the 6500 XT, which actually had a huge price decrease, down 13% to $161. I still would absolutely not buy this GPU. Find an extra $60 and get the 6600 instead. But we'll go through more of that when we go through the best GPU for your money more towards the end of the video. Let's punch through the NVIDIA prices. And just moments ago, Newegg updated a couple of prices. That is going to make the news slightly better than the horrible news I was about to give you, but it's still not good. So let's kick it off. Probably the brightest spot right now, although maybe totally irrelevant at the same time, is the RTX 3090. Came down to $979 from $1,050. That's a 7% change. You know, kind of big whoopity-doo. Nobody should be buying these GPUs right now unless for some reason you can't wait until November. The RTX 3080 Ti, whoopity-doo, $5 discount, 1%. RTX 3080 only came down $10. That's also about 1%. And the models that we're seeing here, the one thing that's nicer is it's not just like one model at that price. Now you're seeing a couple different models from a couple different vendors at that price or around that price. sure, that's great. But again, if you've got $739, you know, it's not probably a good time to be buying these. And I don't see why they're not more steeply discounted. With the RTX 3070 Ti, we're going to skip over that. Remember, that's a terrible GPU to buy. It's $100 more than the 3070 for only about 4% more performance. The 3070 is starting to get in a territory where you almost might consider buying it, but for $529, that's for like a Zotac kind of smaller 2-fan model, although you have some other Gigabyte and MSI models around that $540, $530 price range. Not terrible value right now. Then we're getting into a price range where the GPUs at this price range are not going to be changed anytime soon with new technology. Kind of stuck with what we've got. So 3060 Ti, 0%, absolutely no price movement on the 3060 Ti. $449 continues to be its price. Remember, its MSRP is $399, hasn't even hit that. The RTX 3060 is a card that I absolutely hate showing that price for because it's a little bit deceptive at $369. Not any change since last month. And again, it's the MSI, you know, single fan ITX version of that. This is a small improvement on the RTX 3060, is that it used to be this and maybe one other model around that price. However, now if you look, you can find most of these models under $400 instead of them immediately jumping up to $430, $440, which is RTX 3060 Ti pricing. So that is maybe a slight positive, but again, these GPUs unfortunately not going to be replaced anytime soon. And then we've got the RTX 3050, and yes, on the one hand, yay, the price finally budged down to $299. On the other side, it's like, come on, NVIDIA, do you think that we're stupid? Way overpriced GPU, similar performance to the GTX 1660 Super. That's right, it's a 2 or 3 year old graphics card, actually more than that. Just uses DLSS and still selling for $300. That's absolutely insane. Definitely don't buy it. If you want to buy an NVIDIA graphics card and you're absolutely allergic to AMD at this price bracket, check out the 2060. Right now, yes, you kind of got to buy this weird 3-fan model for $229, but for not too much more, we've got the KO Ultra gaming card, really, really nice one for $250. And then we'll just round it out with the GTX 1660 Super, price effectively unchanged, $209 right now. You can get it over at Amazon. There's a PNY 2-fan card, perfectly fine for $209. And if you are looking for new graphics cards at about $200, this is where you're at. You're about scraping the bottom of the barrel unless you're willing to consider something used or bump up slightly to a 6600. And if we take a look at our chart, you can see where we've been. We can see how crazy GPU prices got, especially around December, and we can see the precipitous fall. However, we also see that it's absolutely flattening out right now, especially for NVIDIA graphics cards, which is unfortunate. So let's jump into where GPU prices are going. And I think this is an important piece of information to have. A lot of people have asked me, what about JayzTwoCents video, where he just laid out that NVIDIA is manipulating the market, as they laid out in a second quarter earnings call, where the CEO basically using their own words against him. He actually played the recording of the call, kind of translated it into normal human being speak instead of finance speak. People are asking me, what do I think about that? I think Jay's absolutely correct on this one. He and I don't always see where the graphics card market is going eye to eye. That's fine. He's got his opinion, I've got mine. You should listen to both of us. He's absolutely correct that NVIDIA is leveraging its market position to keep those graphics card prices high. They're withholding product from the market right now, realizing that you're going to buy it no matter what. So they're going to withhold it from the market so it's not sitting out there to the point where it's creating an urgency to reduce the prices, and then they're going to slowly trickle it in. And they're more than likely looking to push back the launch of the RTX 4080, RTX 4070, certainly the 4060 Ti, 4060 series cards as far as they can until they sell through this stock at the maximum price that they can charge you. And the reason they get away with this is because they are effectively a monopoly, or they have monopolistic power. People say, what do you mean, Jason? How can NVIDIA be a monopoly? AMD sells graphics cards as well. Let's take a look at that. Remember, the worst monopolistic behaviors, we'll go back to Microsoft in the 1990s and others, often occurs when there is token levels of competition. And what do I mean by token levels of competition? That way they can say, oh, it's not us. We have competition. We have to go to the market forces like everybody else. LOL, behind closed doors, right? Well, let's take a look at the Steam hardware survey. This is a survey that Steam does. It's not all gamers, obviously. It's a segment, but we can certainly see the direction of the market here. We can see, and this is a Tom's Hardware article. I will also leave a link down in the video description that they just published. Great article, by the way. RTX 30 series in August. 21.7% of users had an RTX 30 series graphics card. RX 6000 series AMDs, 1.8%, not even 10%, not even 10%. So that's the market dominance that we are talking about right now that NVIDIA can continue to leverage. And yes, they can always use AMD as, oh no, we've got competition, but they realize that most of you are going to continue to buy their graphics cards no matter what they do. So they're going to charge you through the nose. So next time, before you complain about the high price of graphics cards, if you're someone who's not willing to consider the competition out there, you're only looking to buy from one company, you got to make some connections out there between these two things. I'm not saying don't buy an NVIDIA product if you really want one. It's your money. You can do with it whatever you want. But at the same time, let's start making some of these connections as consumers when we start questioning why GPU prices remain so high. Let's jump into where GPU prices are going, not just used, not just current generation, but next generation as well. This is going to be huge news and an absolute meltdown of the overall GPU market. AMD and NVIDIA are really, really going to be hating life. Where have all the GPUs gone since 2021? They've gone to Ethereum miners. Ethereum is a GPU mineable currency. Not all cryptocurrencies are GPU mineable. Bitcoin, for instance, is mined with an ASIC, so that's not part of it. And a lot of cryptocurrencies aren't mineable at all. And Ethereum, right now, in terms of GPU mineable currencies, is 98% of the overall market cap. That means everything else out there is tiny. It's fractional. Most of these folks are mining Ethereum. But when Ethereum moves to proof of stake, that's going to happen imminently as I'm doing this video, right? So the current estimate for Ethereum to move to proof of stake, that's going to end GPU mining effectively, is sometime around Wednesday night, September 14th, or Thursday, September 15th, and very early in the morning. And the closer we get to that date, the more certain we are, because it's a block number, and it just, whenever the Ethereum network processes that block number, that's when it's going to switch over. So that's going to happen sometime Wednesday or Thursday, September 14th to September 15th. And the next day, September 16th, bloodbath, absolute bloodbath. And 100% of the GPU miners out there are going to be slugging it out for 2% of the overall profits. Well, what's going to happen? They're not going to make any money. They have to pay their power bills. Remember, these GPUs draw power. They have to pay those power bills. And unless they make enough money mining GPUs, it's not going to be feasible anymore. And they're going to do what happened in 2018, 2019 during the crash. First, they're going to go through the 5 stages of grief, right? Denial, anger, and whatever the other ones are. And they'll finally get to number 5, which is acceptance. They'll decide this isn't going to work. I better sell these GPUs for whatever I can get for them right now. They'll clean them up. They'll list them on eBay. And then there will be huge price wars between various sellers. They're trying to sell like literally hundreds, if not thousands of GPUs each. It'll be absolutely bonkers. Now, how many used GPUs are we talking about? Well, if we look at the Ethereum network, back before the price of Ethereum absolutely cratered in June, July, there was about 1,100 or so terahash on the network. And now there's about 926. So it looks like about 15% of miners kind of got off the train. That means 85% of the hash rate is still there. These are all GPUs on the Ethereum network. How many GPUs does that equate to? Well, we've done this before. Let's do it again. 926 terahash. If we divide that by the hashing rate of a GPU, like for instance, the RTX 3090, we can see that it'd be 8 million RTX 3090s worth of GPU hashing power on the Ethereum network out there. If it was 1660 Supers, that'd be 31 million GPUs out there ready to flood the market. It's probably even more than that because there are older cards like the 980s and such on that as well. But it's a huge, tens of millions of used GPUs are going to absolutely flood the market. They're going to destroy pricing on used GPUs that have already fallen by 50 to 60% since February. Those GPU prices are going to go to seriously low levels. Could we see things like a $200 RTX 3090? Possibly. I mean, listen, there's a lot of those out there in mining rigs right now. And if you're in certain regions where there's a ton of GPU mining going on, you could see that. And here's the thing that AMD and NVIDIA are terrified of, absolutely terrified of. What happens when you want to go buy a graphics card and hey, here's the nice shiny 4070 coming out in 2023. And that GPU is, say $700, and it's the same performance as the RTX 3090. Well, I can go get an RTX 3090 for $200 or $300. Which one do you think a lot of people are going to choose to get? And even if only a certain percentage of them go used, those are buyers that are not buying on the new market. Those are more GPUs for everyone else and more GPUs just sitting around and lower sales volume for AMD and NVIDIA. So let's go over the best price performance GPUs. If you don't know how the spreadsheet works, we basically take the performance of all these GPUs as measured against an RX 570. We get a price to performance, and then we chop these up. Best under $200, best for 1080p, best for 1440p, and best for 4K. Remember, this spreadsheet is available down in the video description if you want to check it out. These are US-based prices, but you can put in prices for your region, use the spreadsheet to your own ends, and figure out what's the best price to performance for you. Under $200 right now, you're mostly on the used market. Yes, the RX 6500 XT at $161 finally cracks the top 10 price to performance for under $200 GPUs. I still hate that GPU. Remember, you don't have encoding, you don't have other things. I would really be looking at that GTX 1070. That's a good one. RX 5600 XT sneaks under $200. Great price to performance. And the thing about that GPU is also a great mining GPU. There's a lot of those out there. I expect an absolute bloodbath of those being sold off once we go to proof of stake, once Ethereum merges. So in the next couple of weeks, the price of that will probably diminish greatly. So I'd be keeping my eye on that GPU. If we look at GPUs, high FPS 1080p gaming, regardless of price, under about $350, then yes, GTX 1070 still looks good. Some of those other GPUs we just talked about, but if you're buying new, RX 6600, really good value at $1.20 price performance. RTX 2060, not bad itself, $1.29. If for some reason you can't stomach AMD, just know that the 6600 has more performance than the 2060. And of course, if you have just a little bit of money to spend, the 6600 XT, $1.33 price to performance, really good. At 1440p, honestly, I'm looking at a lot of used GPUs here that I wouldn't necessarily buy just yet. I expect the prices on those to fall dramatically over the next month. So if you're interested in those, check back. 6600 XT continues to be the best new GPU for 1440p. Yes, I know it won't get you super high FPS. It'll get you 60 FPS in most games. So if you're looking for something more powerful, 6700 XT and the 6800 XT now with its much lower price, doing really well there. And then we get into a class of GPUs I just couldn't see myself spending the money for right now, though they have come down dramatically in price. 6800 XT, maybe. Will we get a GPU in that 500-ish plus price bracket? I don't know. It's hard to know. The RTX 4090 might be $2,500, might be $2,000. We don't know what the pricing on that's going to be. Certainly not going to be $589. And are we going to get the 30, 40, 80, 40, 70? Who knows? But if you need something now and you want a GPU that's 4K capable, I would take a look at 6800 XT, 6900 XT, possibly the 3070. Let's play everyone's favorite game. Should you buy now or should you wait? Well, listen, this is an easy one, and let's go into why. At the budget or the lower and even the mid-range, if you want to build now, that's absolutely fine. If you're like, hey, Jason, I could save another $30, but I've been waiting for two years. They're not going to come out with the RTX 4060 Ti for $450, so I might as well get something at that $400 or $300 price range or even lower and move on with my life. If you are willing to buy a used GPU, it might make a lot of sense to just stand pat for at least another month if you got like $250 to $300 to see what you can get out there. I mean, I certainly think we'll see 3070s for that price range if you're in a market where there's a lot of GPU mining going on and those flood in. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time. Remember, miners are going to start listing their cards initially for way too much money. They're going to try and get back what they paid for it, which is never going to happen. And you're going to see a lot of these listings just timing out. They're not going to sell. Then they're going to see those same cards selling for way lower. And then they're going to start to panic thinking, oh my gosh, I have 100 3060s. If I can't sell them at even $400 or $300, I better just sell them for whatever I can get right now. And you'll see that panic selling and that kind of market fear really take effect. And that's when folks like us, gamers, can really take advantage of this situation and we can buy these GPUs. A lot of these miners, once you add up everything, will have lost money in mining because they were expecting to sell that for maybe even up to 50% of the value. Well, if they bought an RTX 3060 for, $800 or $900, there's no way they're going to sell those for $300 or $400. They're going right now for $300. It's going to only come down from here. So that's where we're at right now. Otherwise, if you're waiting for high end, don't buy a 3090 or something on the new market. Go ahead and wait. Let's see what the 4090 offers. Let's see what the 7900 XT, 7800 XT, maybe the 7800 offer. We'll see if NVIDIA can push back the 4080 and 4070. I hope that they don't, but I just feel like we're going to see market dynamics that they'll feel like are going to force their hands in order to not look like total idiots in front of their shareholders after they lose. They're not going to lose money after they don't make as much money money as they initially projected. But again, we're about to live through one of the wildest times in terms of the PC parts market. So just buckle your seatbelt, pop your popcorn, let's do this together. If you got value out of the video, please give it a like because it makes a huge difference, especially this guy sleeping right here. And of course, subscribe and click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. Of course, if you're looking for an awesome 1440p monitor to go with your awesome new graphics card, check out right here. We go through all the best 1440p gaming monitors for you in 2022. And we'll catch you on the next one.